right. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good day so far. We'll give it just a minute to let people jump in on the broadcast. Looks like Brooke just joined us. Good morning, Brooke. Say hi, Danica. We'll give it just another minute. We'll wait for some others to join so they don't miss all the fun. There we go. We're getting a few more in now. Kelsey says good morning. She's probably there with Ellie and Benjamin. Chantel says good morning. All right. I think we'll go ahead and get things started. So once again, good morning, my friends. Welcome back to another Quest Bite. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. My name's Brandon. You guys met me last week. I'm one of the engineers with Quest Integration, and I am joined by a special guest today, my daughter Danica. She actually helped me with the project that we're going to talk about today. So it should be a lot of fun for you guys to learn a bit about what we did and how we did it. But most importantly, you're going to learn about some really cool technology today that will probably be something you guys come across in the future. So you'll want to kind of know how it works, and it might be something that's very common for you guys. Those are that are interested in technology and careers based upon that. So with that, I'll tell you guys a little bit about where we're going with this today. So I told you guys last week, one of the many reasons that I became an engineer was I came to learn that engineers got to use a lot of really cool high tech tools to do their job. So we're going to talk about one of my favorite new tools today, and that is a 3D scanner. So we'll take a quick little poll here just to let you guys interact a little bit. I want to take a vote of all the people in the audience. How many have actually heard of a 3D scanner? Take a quick poll there if you want to click on yes or no. We'll see if we can get some votes in here real quick. All right. Cool. We've got some voters here. Yes, they have. No, they have not. All right, so it's looking like about a 50-50 mix. Pretty close to that. All right, cool. Thanks for taking the poll with us there, guys. We'll go ahead and pause that. We can show the results real quick here. So about 60-40 at this point. We had a few voters there. Thanks for taking the poll with us. Hopefully you guys thought that was kind of fun. So we'll close that down for now. We'll keep things going here with a little bit of what we're going to learn about today. So as I mentioned in the beginning, 3D scanners are one of my favorite tools that I get to use today. It's some pretty high-tech stuff, some really cool stuff to watch it actually work. And Danica and I took a video the other day of the project that we worked on. So you'll get to see a little bit of how we did this and what it's going to look like in the end. But what is a 3D scanner in the first place? It's a device that uses some pretty high-tech stuff to take measurements of things that exist in the real world. So if you think about, like I've got my computer mouse here, I'll hold it up so you guys can see. It's got some weird, funky shapes on it. If you wanted to try to measure this thing and maybe try to recreate it somehow, that would be pretty difficult to do because it's kind of a weird looking shape, right? You can't just take out your tape measure and measure all of the surfaces on this thing, right? So that's where 3D scanners really can come in handy, is for things that are very complex. It'll use the technology that we're going to talk about to measure those shapes so that you can actually do something with it. So we'll get to that in just a bit, what you can actually use it for. But there's kind of three basic use cases that you would have for a 3D scanner. You're going to create a 3D model, so we'll put something in the computer of an object that already exists. We'll take maybe some measurements using that, so I'll talk about some people that might use those for measurements, and then you might even use it to 3D print something. But what do they actually look like? There's lots of different 3D scanners that exist today. You guys may have seen some of these out there in the real world. Some of them are kind of look like something out of a space age movie, right, Danica? Some kind of weird looking stuff, things that you hold in your hand, some that are on the end of a robot arm, some that even go on your cell phone, your iPad. You can use all types of 3D scanners. They're really fun to interact with. I first got my hands on one about a year ago to see what they do. And the one that we're going to use today, this is one of our scanners that we have at Quest. This is a Creaform laser scanner. So this thing is really super cool. It's got lasers that come out of it. It's going to actually measure parts using those lasers. And it's got a couple of really fancy cameras here that'll pick up those lasers. So I'll explain how this actually works here in just a moment. But we got to use this guy a couple of days ago to work on a project together. I think Danica and I can both say that we had some fun with it. How does a 3D scanner actually work? So what it's going to do is take those lasers or some other light source. You guys can look up other 3D scanners online to see how they work. But basically what it does is it's going to shoot out these laser beams or other light source. Those will bounce off of an object, and it's going to come back into the camera so the camera can measure how far that laser beam went and what it bounced off of. So it can actually see objects that are in front of those lasers. Pretty cool, right? The laser scanner that Danica and I used is actually taking 1.3 million measurements per second. Pretty amazing, right? It can actually measure things 1.3 million times per second. That is fast, right? So that's a little bit about how they work. There's all kinds of people that use these 3D scanners, everyone from engineers to inspectors to dentists and surgeons. Even kids are using 3D scanners now. There's all kinds of different applications for these, and you guys will see more and more of it coming about as the future progresses and you see more types of 3D scanners out there on the market. Some pretty fun stuff. So that's a little bit about who would use them, why would you actually use them in the first place. 3D scanners are really good at measuring things so that you can use them to recreate things or fix things or make something new. So I'll give you a couple of examples here. Engineers and scientists might use a 3D scanner to fix broken parts. If they have something that's broken on a machine, they might measure an old version of that part so that they can create a digital model of it, and then they can go and recreate it, whether that's with a 3D printer or maybe they're going to manufacture it some other way. But you can actually use a 3D scanner to begin making that model off of. Even a lot of dentists are using these today to create new dentures, new teeth for people. You can measure the inside of someone's mouth and create custom fit dentures that'll work just for that person. You might have even seen some of this work being done with like 3D scanners and 3D printers to create new limbs for people. You guys have heard about prosthetic limbs, right? Artificial legs, arms, fingers, stuff like that that can be used to replace a limb that someone may have lost, right? All of this technology can work together to actually do that, and it's really, really fun. The example that Danica and I are going to show you is pretty fun, I thought. So the other day I told Danica, go grab something that you've got laying around the house, and what I want to do with you is 3D scan it so that we can make a digital model of it and maybe improve it in some way. And we're going to 3D print it at the end of it. So Danica, why don't you hold these up here real quick so they can see what exactly we're going to work on. So you can see there, this is one of Danica's squishy toys, right? It's got some kind of cool details and stuff going on with it, little cracks and different shapes, stuff that you can see pretty easily there. Basically, what we wanted to do is take that squishy toy, 3D scan it into the computer, and then make a different version of it. So this is what we ended up with. It looks kind of the same. We took the original shape of that pineapple, but we added some other stuff to it. So I wanted to make a base here with her name on it, customize it a little bit. You can kind of see how that works. And you'll see more of this here in just a minute. But that's ultimately what we did. We did some engineering work on it. We took the original thing, we improved it a little bit, and we actually manufactured what we wanted to bring into the real world. So it was pretty fun. You guys can actually watch a video here in just a second of what we actually had to do, but the process is pretty simple. You scan your object, it becomes a 3D digital model, and then you can actually make something. In our case, we used a 3D printer that I've got sitting in my office here. So here's how it actually works. Danica and I set up a 3D scanning table here, so a little turntable that spins around. You can see that it's got these little sticker targets on it. I'm just explaining to Danica kind of how this works. The lasers that come out of the scanner that you hold in your hand, the lasers are going to bounce off of those targets on that table. And it's kind of cool because as it reflects off those targets and the lasers bounce back, what it's going to do is actually look for objects that interfere with those targets. So it'll notice right away if there's an object in front of those little sticker targets on the platform, it'll recognize what that object is. And you can imagine as it's taking 1.3 million measurements per second, it can see a lot of information. So it's going to pick up all the little tiny details on whatever part it is you're measuring and bring that into the computer. So Danica actually got to put her hands on the scanner and do some of this herself with my help. And it's really fun to actually watch this thing work. So you can see the lasers come out of the scanner there and start bouncing back to the camera. And then I also captured some video of what was happening on the computer screen for that scanner computer. Taking a look there, you can see that that pineapple just comes to life almost instantly. With all of those measurements being taken, you can literally see the 3D model show up right in front of you. And that's pretty amazing technology. So we started taking a few of those scans of the pineapple there. It really doesn't take any time at all to get this done. Within just a couple of minutes, you can actually have something 3D scanned. So it was pretty fast. We were able to get to work on it quickly and actually do something with it. So like I was saying before, if you've ever thought about maybe you want to fix something that's broken or recreate something and have that object even the same day. The 3D print that we did didn't take too long at all, but we just kind of follow that same process there. We scan it, create a 3D model. In our case, we started with just the pineapple, and then I used one of my other favorite tools, SolidWorks, to improve the model a little bit. So we added some text to the base that we created there underneath it, just some simple changes, but whatever ideas we have in our head that we want to bring into reality, these tools combined together can help us do that. And then all we have to do is send it out to a 3D printer. It's literally as simple as hitting print on your computer, and you can put this thing onto a 3D printer. So I also made a quick video of the new pineapple printing, so you can watch how it builds up inside the 3D printer. Some of you guys had questions on how 3D printers actually work. You may have heard some of that already on previous QuestByte episodes, but it's basically just like a printer that would print on paper, right? It's going to lay down ink on a printer that uses paper, right? Well, in our case, 3D printers use plastic. It's going to lay it down in layers and just keep building that object on top of each other one by one until you get a final shape that you're happy with. All right, so that's all it took for us. Pretty exciting project. Thank you, Danica, for working on this with me. Nice job. I think we had a lot of fun with it. So, you guys learned some cool new stuff today. Hopefully you really enjoyed seeing this high-tech device in action and watching us get to work on something that's real. It was a lot of fun for us. I hope you enjoyed learning about it. As always with QuestBite, we want to give you guys something to work on your own. We'll post a link here in the comments on the live feed so you guys can get access to one of the projects we had in mind for you. A pretty cool little idea that you'll find online, a kid's science experiment to make your own rainbow in a jar. So this one's actually kind of cool because you get to learn about how different liquids, different fluids behave and why you can actually make a rainbow in a jar. It'll be a pretty cool experiment for you guys to get to know. You'll use everything from oil to water to alcohol, and you can actually kind of see how this works. So make sure to check it out. If you guys want to share any of the rainbows that you make, go ahead and share those with us on Facebook. If you like the show, if you've learned something new from it, make sure that you guys share it with your friends and family. Tell some other folks to join us on the QuestBite. There's plenty to learn, and I think you guys will really enjoy the next episode. So hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you for joining us again. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, guys.